what do you think about the golden at bat rule? I've been talking a lot, introducing topics. Do one of you guys want to explain what the golden at bat rule is?
Yeah, simply put, Rob Manfred said that Golden at Bat was going to be once per game. Major League Baseball teams will be able to send any hitter up to the plate for an at bat, no matter where that team was at the time in the batting order. So essentially, think of it as a designated hitter, but instead of people who just haven't entered the game, you could pick anybody on the roster.
So let's
Yeah.
say, just as an example, it's bottom of the seventh. You're down by 2, bases are loaded, and you have the 8th hitter coming up, the person in the 8th
Bo
position.
Naylor, baby.
Instead of Bo, we could say, you know what? We're going to bring in Jose to hit in that spot.
So what do you guys think about this? Because I'm very up and down on it. I think it's a super interesting idea, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. Eric, take it away, my man.
I'm conflicted here. Part of baseball is the traditions. And I am a bit of a traditionalist when it comes to baseball. It's going to the ballpark and getting a hot dog, and it hasn't changed much since the 1800s. There's something to be said about that. That said, I also like modernizing the game. I like that the games are quicker now. I think it's one of those adapt or die kind of moments. This one's very out there for sure. But I'm nothing if not amenable to some of these rule changes, and I frankly like it.
So I'm going to jump in here for a second just to be the polar effing opposite of Eric. I play video games for a reason, right? Go off in my little fantasy. I'm 6'7" or whatever on the Cavs right now, dunking left, right, and center. I can't jump more than 4 feet.
That's tracks.
Okay, well, whatever, man. We'll see when we start doing some basketball challenges in the new year. Nudge,
I've
nudge,
seen you
wink,
play
wink to all the
basketball.
viewers out there.
If you can't jump 4 feet, that's still pretty good. 48-inch vertical would be high. You can't jump 2 feet, brother.
Okay, regardless, I was talking out of my ass anyway. Let me get back into it. I don't want this video game BS in my sports. I'm sorry, I don't. To be able to bend a rule that has been a part of baseball for so long to just, Bo, go sit down. We're going to put Jose back out there after he batted potentially not too long ago in the lineup, depending on what's going on in the game. He might have batted in during this inning for all we know. To me, I think it's stupid. I think the idea is interesting, but I will heavily pass on it.
Yeah, this is weird for me because I play baseball and I'm not a purist, but I'm more of a purist than most people a lot of times. And I thought this was interesting. First of all, shout out my sister, Rebecca. She texted me, was like, you guys got to talk about the Golden Bat Rule. Texted you guys.
Nice.
We got it on the show. So thanks, kiddo. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Yeah. I think so. Here's what I think. If you stop and think about it, yes, easy to be outraged at first because baseball is you field and you bat and there's an order and there's double switches and there's DHs, but there's only one way to change. We all know the rules of baseball. But this adds an element, especially for all those National League people who were mad that they put the DH in the NL. This brings strategy for a manager back to the forefront of the game. Who do you hit? When do you hit? Are they on base? You pull them off of base to hit. I think it adds some interesting stuff. Like you said, I always assumed it would be like challenges in the NBA. Unless something was really egregious, you just, if you're behind, you wait till the 9th inning and you hit for whoever's the worst hitter because you need it then. But you brought up a great point. What if the bases are loaded in a close game in the 5th inning? You only get one. Do you use it then to get the one at bat? I think there's a lot of strategy that goes into it. And I think it could be cool for the game. Is it typical? No. Are the purists going to like it? No. But like you said, either evolve or die. Baseball's done some good stuff with the runner on second base. It done some good stuff with the pitch clock and cutting it down without meaningfully changing the game. So what? Everybody comes to the stadium to see home runs anyway. Go let Jose Ramirez get another at bat. That's good for everybody.
See, and that's interesting to me because that's typically how I feel about this kind of thing, but I don't know why this feels like it's just a little too much. It feels like I'm playing Diamond Dynasty, which is the card-based game in MLB The Show for those of you who don't play video games, who don't pay attention. And it feels like I'm putting in the rookie Jose card to bat 8th after Jose, the regular card's batting 3rd to be a DH or something like that. And maybe that's what throws it off for me is, some of these fantasy-esque scenarios that I've seen, just playing copious amounts of video games on my PlayStation 5, but I digress.
Like John said, though, it's about bringing strategy back to the forefront. It's
Yeah.
the reason I get so frustrated that we don't bunt the damn ball when we have a runner on 3rd and no outs and you need a run. And
Brian
you go down
Rocchio bunts the
swinging,
ball in the playoffs, baby. That's all I care about.
which makes me so happy when I see it. Again, here's the thing. You're dealing with especially younger generations that say baseball is boring. I'm not saying that. I happen to love the sport and love the game. I like a pitching duel and matchup as much as I like, a 22-15 score line. But the goal is to make it more fun and really get more runs, right? It's like when Trevor Bauer talks about the balls being juiced because, frankly, Major League Baseball wants more runs. I think it's great for the sport, gets more people into it, and makes it more exciting.
I could see where you guys are at, and I could be convinced. Maybe I watch it and I love it. Like I love the pitch clock or the banning the shift or any of the stuff that we've, changed to the game and tweaked to make it more fun. But, you have these younger generations. Hey, I was one of those people, a decade ago who was like, well, maybe like a decade ago, 2014-ish, 2013, wherever you want to place that.
You're in middle school.
Yeah. Calling baseball boring though. And now I put it up there. It rivals the Cavs for me. It probably passes it because I'm a Cavs employee. So I get to go and enjoy baseball as a fan more than I do the Cavaliers ever. I don't know, man. This one, maybe I'm starting to become a traditionalist in my baseball the more I dive into my baseball fandom, and that's why I'm stuck in it. But I don't know.
It's funny you say that because one of the moves that I hated the most was getting rid of the shift. I thought that was so dumb. And it's such a small part of baseball, but I just thought there was no reason to get rid of it, but I'm all for this.
Interesting.
I like that they got rid of the shift too. I thought it was. I don't like anybody who's played baseball. Most people who don't know, every single time every hitter comes up, you move a little bit. Like you play towards their tendencies. If you're
Right.
at double play depth, maybe the infield's in. Maybe you're trying to protect the line, so there's all kinds of shit that goes into defense. But that's another one where I fall back on the purist side. Watching a third baseman, a shortstop, a second baseman, and a first baseman all line up between first and second base was absurd. That's not baseball either. That's not what they intended when they drew it up. And people are there to see runs and see people hit the ball. Nobody wants to watch Jose Ramirez's 308 average drop to 275 because he keeps smashing balls into a shift. I think it was good for the game, and I think it was good for baseball too that they got rid of it.
Hey, quick question. Just since we're on baseball real quick, and then we can take it home if we so please, if this doesn't take too long. The Juan Soto deal, the contract, everything that happened there. I'm just curious how we feel about all of that. I've talked in depth, I feel like, at least to Eric, some of my friends about this whole thing, but I'm just curious to put it out there. The Juan Soto deal, everything that went down, how do we feel about it?
John?
I was going to give it to you first.
All right. I mean, I can as the resident Yankee fan.
That's what I was.
You are a Yankee fan after all.
This is your true love, Eric.
I did root for them against the Dodgers. Listen, here's where I come from this. I think it's a bad contract, obviously. I can't believe the amount of money. I mean, it's so staggering. I remember when A-Rod signed that massive contract with New York back in the day, where like also Seattle and Texas were still paying him. And I thought this will never be topped. And these contracts just keep getting bigger and bigger. But the side of it that I don't think a lot of people have talked about enough is that I actually give New York Yankees a lot of credit in that they could have matched it. They were given the option and they chose not to. And that really speaks volumes about how far they've come as a franchise, because they used to just pay that no matter what. And then they got stuck with these behemoth contracts. It didn't really matter, but it was bloat on bloat on bloat. And they really stopped doing that when Robbie Cano got offered a massive contract from Seattle. They stopped paying for past performance. And I'm a big believer in not paying for past performance. I do think Juan Soto is in the middle of his career, the early stages of his career. He's going to be good for a long time, but it's such a bloated contract. I don't think it works out well for the Mets.
Yeah, I agree. It's not going to work out well for the Mets, but and it's crazy that in this whole wacky equation, a man who's going to get $765 million is the poor man. But I'm all for the union guys and the little guys sticking it to the man every time you can. You got $765 million from a billionaire in New York to play baseball. Good for him. Get every dollar you can in America.
So wild.
To echo that real quick, John, too, because remember way back when he was still with the Padres, people were calling him crazy for not taking that deal that he was offered, and he basically doubled the money that was offered in that deal.
100%.
And he succeeded.
And
he
I
succeeded.
give the kid credit.
100%.
I have no ill will. Go get your money. Go get your bag. It's not about that at all. It's about from the team perspective. Now, had the Guardians announced this contract that we got Juan Soto for $765, I'd be ecstatic because it meant we were spending some money, and I wouldn't worry about long term at all. I don't think. But for the Mets, I don't know. It's such a big move.
Increase our
sure. I love how you called Juan. I love how you called Juan a kid, and he's still 2 years older than me.
Oh, he is a kid to us old heads, as you call us.
You're a child.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah,
gentlemen, it's been a blast.
I want to say one more thing about Juan Soto in the deal, though. Eric, you said one thing where I'm like so conflicted because I agree with you almost 100%, but I also think we're both wrong 100%. You have to pay players based on past performance because that's all you have. You can't pay them on future performance, and you don't know what the present's going to hold. Somebody comes in, they play really well, and you say, we think this is what we're going to get based on what you've done in the past. We're going to give you this contract. What is the alternative for paying for past performance?
Sure, but we know there's a fall off, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that fall off can be steep. So giving a guy a massive career contract, knowing that fall off is coming, is different than, again, Robinson Cano's probably the best example. He was in the mid to late point of his career and then got a huge contract from the Mariners. That was a dumb contract paying for past performance.